Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om. Can you hear?
We lost connection.
Oh, got dongle.
No, dongle we don't need it. Just be connected to this dongle.
Hari Om.
Audio.
Mute. Swamiji is not visible, Swamiji. Laptop position is funny. Swamiji is not visible. I think we close it and come back to it. Swamiji can log out and log in again.
Can you hear?
Yes, Swami, yes, Swami.
It is okay now?
But if they can see, Meeraban is saying okay. But only Swamiji's hand is, Swamiji can close and come back again. No.
No.
But then Swamiji won't be able to read, no, ma. That is what. Swamiji, can just close and come back again?
Okay. Where were we day for yesterday? Any idea?
Swamiji, we were reading this thing,
Hmm?
from the Gita.
That was on death.
Yes, Swamiji.
8 chapter 5 to 7.
Eh?
8 chapter 5 to 7.
8.
8th chapter, 3 shlokas. Swamiji, but you said from today we will start to go back to our old. That's what that day you told in the end.
Old means Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, now we'll go back to 18th chapter, okay? We'll make it trial. So we are trying to understand Bhagavad Gita through our own experiences. God has made us to witness, to hear, to know so many varied experiences. We had put a label, good or bad, favorable, not favorable, comfortable, not comfortable, and then we have filed it in our memory. But actually, Srimad Bhagavad Gita helps us to identify something by which we improve our life, quality of our life, instead of just making a label. Everything that we have passed through, we have witnessed, it has got a purpose in our life. So this study will definitely help us. So with that we will move from 18th chapter. We have identified about 20 shlokas. Let us see what happens. Dedication, sloka number 5. Karunakaran, a dedicated government officer, made service a guiding principle throughout his life. Even during his demanding career, he consistently set aside time for charitable activities, organizing food drives, supporting education for underprivileged children, volunteering at local shelters. Alongside these outward acts, Karunakaran maintained a disciplined spiritual discipline. Daily scriptural study, swadhyay, attending satsang, observing regular fasting, practicing other forms of sadhana. These practices, he believed, not only refined his character, but also uplifted those around him. After retiring, Karunakaran's commitment deepened. He chose to donate much of his savings and personal belongings to a medical mission dedicated to providing free health care in remote, under-served communities. Beyond financial support, he offered his time and skills, helping manage outreach camps and comforting patients with compassion and humility. For Karunakaran, these acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance were not mere duties, but essential practices that brought inner purification and a sense of fulfillment, demonstrating the Gita's teaching that such actions should never be abandoned, for they benefit both the individual and society. Yajnadana tava karma Natyajyam karyameva tad Yajnodanam tapaschaiva Pavanani manishinam. Action based upon sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. They must certainly be performed. Indeed, acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are purifying even for those who are wise. Here sacrifice means, that is not the correct word for yajna. We will try to find out. Yajna, dana, tapas. Vinobaji brilliantly brings it out that these three, if we closely analyze, we will find this is how we pay back. Yajna, dana and tapas. Any activity we do, it should be beneficial for the society. Such productive activity, creative activity, that is called yajna. This is how we pay back for all that society has given. This is what the Mother Nature has given to all of us. Yajna means giving back to the Mother Nature. Dana is giving back to the society. Tapas is giving back to the body. For all that we have been taking from Mother Nature, whatever we do, it should be in conformity with that. Suppose I make the place dirty, it is against yajna. Suppose I make the atmosphere polluted through my vehicle, through my sound, I am going against the yajna. So like that, all our activities should be in line with what Mother Nature has given to us. Dana is, we have been able to earn something. It has come from the society only. So we should pay back to the society in the form of dana, offerings. Tapas means we have taxed this body, so it has to be given some respite. So this is called tapas. So this should not be abandoned. We will try to find out a suitable word for this yajna. So that is what is meant by yajna. So that activity by which we try to pay back to the society. We become aware of the bounteous nature of Mother Nature, bounteous nature of society, bounteous nature of the physical form. So actions based upon that should never be abandoned. So in Karunakaran's case, this is what he did. We knew him personally. He was working in education department, government of Kerala. Even during that period, very humble and ready to serve attitude. And after retirement, he came to Wayanad, offered everything to Vivekananda Medical Mission, who are doing laudable service to the tribes. They take the vehicle, go there, treat them, and they have established a Pakka hospital where they are given preference, and nowadays we don't know, on those days it was absolutely free for that category. And Karunakaran dropped the body after serving for a long, long years. So this is dedication. Okay. Then from there we move to the second one, dereliction of duty. The young man, through sins, so now we are trying to understand what is in Gita, no? What Gita says and what is being. So now we can combine. So 18th chapter, 5th sloka, we don't just read it and then understand the meaning and then go. No. We are trying to connect it with a day-to-day experience. Why and what is the tangible gain? It is not academic. In that process, we try to learn that all of us have to pay back to Mother Nature, society, and so that the life to be lived will have something from this. Not to just limit our knowledge to the incident. Something for all of us to think deeply, and we try to bring it in our life to be lived, not so far lived. That is academic. That is, we gain knowledge. But the refinement really takes place only when we try, oh, this is that. So the Bhagavad Gita slogan now reminds us that these three institutions I should never forget. Mother Nature, society, and the body. The young man, though sincere in his spiritual quest, initially neglected his primary responsibility, supporting his family who depended upon him financially and emotionally. His sudden resignation and withdrawal from worldly duties, under the impression that renunciation alone would lead to spiritual progress, caused distress and hardships for his loved ones. This act aligns with what the Gita calls tamasic renunciation.
Share the document. Document is not shared with everyone.
But
The document is not shared with everyone on Google.
they have not asked. Let them ask. After years of wandering this act aligns with what the Gita calls tamasic renunciation, giving up duties out of confusion or escapism rather than wisdom. Giving up duties out of confusion or escapism. After years of wandering and inner struggle, the young man realized that true spiritual growth does not come from abandoning one's responsibility, but from fulfilling them with dedication and selflessness. By returning to his job and resuming his support for the family, he embodied the Gita's teaching. Real renunciation lies not in forsaking action, but in performing one's prescribed duties without attachment. This transformation from escapism to responsible action is the essence of the message of Sloka 7. नियतस्य तु संन्यास कर्मणो नोपपद्यते मोहात् तस्य परित्याग तामस परिकीर्तित. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. Such deluded renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. Parampujya Papa, when he was fired with this, and when he was motivated to leave everything, he had a family. It is not that he simply walked away. He wrote 2 letters, one to his wife, so that suppose suddenly you disappear. They may not know. So she clearly mentioned how his priority got changed. One more letter to his friend who was taking care of his industrial establishment. Because they have to be taken care of, So he has not abandoned any duty. Though he went along with his prioritized agenda, he saw to it that the family who was dependent upon him, they were also taken care of. 2 letters. This is something all of us have to think about it. Under the banner of spirituality or anything, we should never abandon our duties, prescribed duties.
Even Mataji gave the choice to her children. Mataji also gave choice to her 2 sons whether they want to come.
Mataji also did not abandon. When Mataji's priority got shifted to something deeper, when she decided to dedicate her whole life for this spiritual awakening, she called her sons and said, "You come with me, I will take care of you." We remember to have read this word that if I get kanji, Guruval, you will also get kanji. But children insisted that they would like to carry on with education under the care of their uncle, who was also very loving. And Mataji did not abandon them because Mataji knew they will be more secure under Ramarao, Dr. Ramarao and Sundari Amma. So it was not abandoning. And she was prepared to take them.
Caption. She's asking for the caption.
Dereliction of duty. Dereliction. Giving up or neglect. We should not neglect. Okay. Then from there we go to humility. In 1979, Dr. ABJ Abdul Kalam was the project director for India's first satellite launch vehicle, SLV-3, at ISRO. The mission aimed to put the Rohini satellite into orbit, a historic step for India's space program. However, the launch did not go as planned. Due to a technical error, The rocket veered off course and the mission failed, with the satellite falling into the Bay of Bengal. When the failure was reported, Professor Dhawan told the media that the failure was the responsibility of the organization's leadership, not the team. He shielded Dr. Kalam and his team from blame, demonstrating true leadership. Because Dhawan was the boss of ISRO at that time, Professor Dhawan. So he took it upon himself, whereas it was not passed down to the team. A year later, in 1980, the team tried again. This time the launch was successful, and India's first satellite was placed into orbit. At the press conference following this triumph, Professor Dhawan invited Dr. Kalam to address the media and take the credit for the successful mission. When there was a failure, he took it upon himself. When there was a success, he passed it on to the team headed by Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam, after recounted the story, he himself told us, emphasizing how Professor Dhawan took responsibility for failure but gave full credit to the team for success. Inspired by his mentor, Dr. Kalam adopted this leadership style throughout his career. He would personally shoulder the blame when things went wrong. But when success came, he made sure to highlight the contribution of every team member. This mirrors the wisdom of Shloka number 10, which teaches that a true renouncer is free from attachment to success or failure, neither exulting in achievement nor lamenting setbacks. Nadveshtu kushalam karma kushale nanushajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi tinna samshaya. Those who neither avoid disagreeable work nor seek work because it is agreeable are persons of true renunciation. They are endowed with the quality of the mode of goodness and have no doubts about the nature of work. Dr. Kalam's balanced attitude, accepting outcomes without ego or regret, exemplifies the Gita's ideal of selfless and detached action in leadership. We can add here Dr. Kalam, Dr. Dhawan's, what is his name? Dr. Professor Dhawan. Professor Dhawan and Dr. Kalam, both. Professor Dhawan, Dr. Dhawan's balanced attitude. So this is related to our professional, no? What should be each one. The other one was family. The other one was social. Karunakaran's commitment towards it is a social segment, The other person who renounced dereliction of duty, that remains the family there. And here we find professional. So Gita addresses to different segments. How closely interrelated, this sloka and this one. Anything for you to say? Anything?
Abandoning it. Uncle, Padma auntie is there?
No, Padma is not there.
Swamiji, in Bangalore I was able to hear him so clearly, Swamiji. How are you?
Abandoning everything and leaving it to God is also correct, no?
Abandoning everything and leaving it to God is correct. He's asking.
That stage will come, that is Sarvadharman Parityaja. But that stage should come when? when we are thoroughly convinced that God will take care. At the moment, if any of us say it is untruth, basic comforts are including that, no? What Papa did on 27th December 1922, that is Sarvadharman Parityaja. Nothing he kept for himself. Everything he laid at the feet of the Master. So renunciation is that. Actually, it is not renunciation. Think about that. Because he has defined his renunciation, that he has not renounced anything, he has only expanded everything.
Swamiji, if we have really renounced, we will not get confused, Swami.
The first testing, whether we are free from any conditioning. First of all, our comfort zones will not be there. Then only the renunciation will take place. The moment we try to think something, the body has got its own demands. Mind and intellect have got its own demand. So if that is there, it will definitely take us away from the ideal. The Sarvadharman Parityaja means, total, that he has provided me everything to me. I don't have to think about me. He has provided me with a life. He has facilitated everything for me to live. When I become not knowledge, when I realize this, I leave everything to him. There is no vested interest. Absolutely zero vested interest. Not only mere comforts, also name, fame, power, position, status. That is why even after wearing this, we all slip. Because somewhere in the mind, the cravings are there, the clingings are there. If somebody says something, you are doing wonderful, then you get elated. You feel, you are better than others, Start thinking. That is Sarvadharman Parityaja is the PhD alla, something PhD to PhD, That is the highest state. So we find in Papa Mataji's or like that Mahatma, there is not 1% of vested interest is there. Totally. What is surrender? Just imagine. Surrender is accepting everything as God's will, including your life. We can explain that. But that 10% surrender is the toughest. So long as I am there, the surrender will not become complete. And surrender is the benchmark for renunciation. Think about it. So when I am not there, in Papa's case, the I was not there. Second chapter of Inquest of God, he beautifully mentions in that renunciation. When everything is done by you, we say, I have done this is mine, that is mine. So he prays to God, please remove the I-ness from me. And that paved the way for his leaving everything. The third chapter. So when we try to understand that, again and again and again, not merely knowledge. And so by the time he was prompted to leave everything, I think that particular Inquest of God book, Inquest of God. He says in the second chapter, Renunciation, O Ram, when thy slave finds thee at once so powerful and so loving, and that he who trusts thee can be sure of true peace and happiness, why should he not throw himself entirely on thy mercy, which can only be possible by giving up everything he called mine? When thy slave finds thee at once so powerful and so loving, and that he who trusts thee can be sure of true peace and happiness, why should he not throw himself entirely on thy mercy, which can only be possible by giving up everything he called mine? That is renunciation. Thou art all in all to thy slave. Thou art the sole protector in the world. Men are deluded when they declare, I do this, I do that, this is mine, that is mine. All, O Ram, is thine. All things are done by thee alone. Thy slave's one prayer to thee is to take him under thy complete guidance and remove his I-ness. That is surrender. So at the end of the chapter he says, at 5 o'clock in the morning, he bade farewell to a world for which he had lost all attraction and in which he could find nothing to call his own. The body, the mind, the soul, all were laid at the feet of Ram, that eternal being, full of love, full of mercy. Here, that Sarvadharman Parityajya, that when Papa was prayed that he remove the me and mine, then he wanted an authentication, no? Whether it is his sattvic mind that is telling or it's the truth. So he was prompted to take out 3 quotations from 3 Mahatmas. One was from Lord Buddha, one was from Jesus, the other one was from Bhagavad Gita. So in Bhagavad Gita he quoted, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shucha. Abandoning all duties, come to me alone for shelter. Sorrow not, I will liberate thee from all sins. So he wrote, for some time past as his sister and another to a kind friend, whom Ram had brought in touch with Ramdas for his deliverance from debts, he took over. No, he said, I will become your partner. And he said, finance and accounts I will take care. Technical side, you do that. So that he was doing it. So the other one was with him. That is a one letter he wrote. Another to a kind friend. So in Papa's case, there was no dereliction of duty, number one. Number two, through this episode, he is making us to get clarity on the word renunciation. And of course, this particular stanza's meaning also it comes. We will also come across with it later. But me and mine, then only this Saranam, then only this sloga is, we can understand. Sarva Dharman. From the individual level, when I identify a family being, a professional being, a social being, I am not bringing God into the picture. When that comes to me, he makes me to lead a family life, he makes me to lead a professional life, he makes me to lead a social life, he makes me to lead a sadhaka's life, like that, then perfectly all right. That means there is no me and mine. So,
Can you read yesterday's story again?
Which story?
young man's story.
Neglect story.
Dereliction of duty.
Dereliction, that is right.
Wants it to be repeated.
Huh?
He wants you to repeat.
Repeat, okay, I'll repeat. The young man, though sincere in his spiritual quest, initially neglected his primary responsibility, supporting his family who depended on him financially and emotionally. His sudden resignation and withdrawal from worldly duties, under the impression that renunciation alone would lead to spiritual progress, caused distress and hardships for his loved ones. This fact aligns with what the Gita calls tamasic renunciation, giving up duties out of confusion or escapism. 6,000 years ago, Lord Krishna has clarified this, Just imagine. 6,000 years ago. After years of wandering and inner struggle, the young man realized that spiritual growth does not come from abandoning one's responsibilities, but from fulfilling them with dedication and selflessness. By returning to his job and resuming his support for the family, he embodied the Gita's teaching. Real renunciation lies not in forsaking action, but in performing one's prescribed duties without attachment. This transformation from escapism to responsible action is the essence of the message of love. Slogan number 7. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. Such deluded renunciation is said to be tamasic. We also know now from these 4 that it is addressed to us. So far we limited our knowledge to the sloga and the meaning. But now we are seeing that it is entering into different segments. The life has different segments. Three over, no? Now we move to the 4th. Sri Matthew, after a distinguished career in a large tea company, retired with the intention of living a quiet, commitment-free life. However, his deep expertise and reputation in the plantation community soon led a coffee estate owner to seek his guidance in resolving complex labor issues. Recognizing the need, Sri Matthew agreed to help, not for financial gain or recognition, but purely out of love for the work and a desire to be of service. He offered his advice and support whenever called upon, without any expectation of reward or personal benefit. This selfless attitude exemplifies the teaching of the sloga. While it is impossible to completely renounce all action, true renunciation lies in giving up attachment to the results. Sri Matthew continued to act, but with a spirit of detachment, motivated by service rather than self-interest, thus embodying the Gita's ideal of karma phalatyaga, relinquishing the fruits of action. This is echoed in slogan number 11. It's also, we know him very well. Nahi deha brut shakyam tyaktam karmanya asheshata yastu karma phalatyagi satyagi tyavidiyade. For the embodied being, it is impossible to give up activities entirely, but those who relinquish the fruits of their action are said to be truly renounced. You see how the theme of an sloga directly links to the example. We covered about 4 now today, no? First was என்னது? Dedication,
would not be able.
So dedication, fruit of action, he's telling some fruit of action.
Huh?
He's telling fruit of action must be dedicated.
Ah.
Young man something.
Huh?
Suma is talking about the young man.
Dereliction of duty.
Dereliction of duty.
Dereliction, correct. Dedication, dereliction,
Humility.
humility,
Huh? Karma yoga.
karma yoga.
Matthew.
Think about it. We don't want to cover the portion. No, they should go deep. this.
This story is a very famous story. It's of Tata Tea. Actually, Mr. Babu was working with the Tata Tea, and that time the tea market was not doing well. And he convinced Tata Tea. Tata Tea was thinking of selling that tea estate, but Matthew convinced the Tata Tea not to sell and distribute in equally among all the workers. And that company is called Devan and Kanan, I think.
Anand Devan.
Munnar.
Kannan Devan.
Yeah, that is the same company.
He was also Matthew.
No, the same.
No. This is,
I
we
think
are.
it's Matthew only it was.
No, he was. We are referring to this friend in Wayanad.
Why not?
We
But,
were, we were in a plantation, so we used to go to him.
but Tata Tea story some same like that.
Acha. Right. Correct. I
They
agree.
have handed over to the workers.
Yeah. Somebody gave that idea. We used to go and trouble Matthew even in nights.
Okay.
Pleasingly he will come forward.
Someone like name from like Matthew and I don't remember.
No, that's not
But
it.
his
That's
name was some.
Yeah. When he was, because he was an expert in handling it, he will be able to pick up the right one at the right time and then guide us. But at the same time, no vested interest. Absolutely zero. And it's a tested friendship, not for one time or two times. For years together we have been. One more we will take and then we will stop.
Swamiji, what is the name of this karma yoga?
Karma yoga. That we put it, no, it can be changed also. Anybody strikes more, some other caption, we can bring that. Because whatever that has stuck to us, we have put it, that's all. Then we go to the next one, support. Before every open heart surgery, a seasoned cardiac surgeon takes a quiet moment of reflection, not merely to hope for success, but to align himself with something higher. With folded hands and a steady heart, he silently invokes the divine, not out of fear, but out of reverence and responsibility. Young doctor, this cardiac surgeon is a young doctor. He told us, we did not put that in the same way. He told us that he is an expert. He was in a big hospital in South Kerala. So every time when there is a heart surgery, what do you call that, bypass and everything, he will go and pray before the Lord. You have provided everything for me to become a doctor. And you provided the strength, expertise, everything. Now you are bringing the field, in the form of patients. Kindly enable for me to feel that and to conduct this. You are doing it through me. Like that, something like that. And every surgery was a success. Despite years of training and flawless technique, he is deeply aware that no action is ever accomplished in isolation. It's a very important issue, very important. In his quiet prayer, he acknowledges 5 essential components that must come together for the operation to succeed. The operating room, the space, the infrastructure, the sterile environment that form the stage for the action, the surgeon himself as the conscious agent who bears responsibility and intention, the surgical instruments, the precise tools through which the work is carried out, the medical team, nurses, anesthetists, technicians whose coordinated effort makes the process possible, and finally the divine grace, that unseen but ever-present force which determines how the patient responds, heals or survives, factors beyond all human control. This inner attitude of humility and surrender reflects the timeless wisdom of slogan number 14. Adhishthanam tatakarta karanam cha pradigvidam vividascha pradaksheshta daivam chaivatra panjamam. Oh, 5. The body, the doer, the various instruments, diverse efforts and divine will. These 5 are the causes of every action. See, Bhagavad Gita, 6,000 years back. Adhishthanam tatakarta karanam cha pradigvitam vividascha pradaksheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. While the world often celebrates outcomes and attributes success to individual excellences, this surgeon reminds us that the real success is a symphony of factors: skill, teamwork, environment, intention, and grace. His mantra, we treat, he cures. It is more than a phrase. It is a lived understanding that action reaches fulfillment only when human effort is harmonized with divine will. In the end, true accomplishment lies not in control, but in offering our best and surrendering the rest. We will all now start realizing how 18th chapter is so important for all of us. So when we go through such examples and try to understand the meaning, slowly the mind gets, tutored, and a culture slowly evolves, emerges. That will help us in the life to be lived. Whether it is in the form of dedication or karma yoga or dereliction of duty or what is this? Prior to that? Karma yoga is over. Humility. And becoming aware of the contributory factors and finally relying on him. When we start any work, suppose we have this dimension. Not only that it gives the external success, but also gives us the joy of fulfillment, a fulfillment, something inexplicable, a sense of fullness. Others may say it as success or not. To us, it is more than a success. You become more grateful to the Lord who has facilitated everything to you. He made it. He made it through me. He chose, he would have chosen somebody else. But because of his love for me, he chose me for this particular act. So 18th chapter is a compendium, it's a culmination of all the 17 chapters. These are all the technical or what you call textual background we had. But now we find that every segment, suppose we approach it with this bhavana, we find that it is very, very relevant for our present day life. Professional, social, personal, family. So the methodology is that when we go through the Bhagavad Gita, in the through a knowledge which, through a language which we know very well, no? Those of us who are not quite conversant with Sanskrit knowledge, the best thing is now we go through Malayalam. This we can easily understand. So when we go through the shloka and meaning, we pause for a moment. Not all shlokas. We just casually go through that and he makes us to stop. Mysteriously he will make us to stop and start thinking. And when you recollect the experience, then you try to stitch it along with the shloka, then find how does it, then little bit of polishing, that's all. Then you find it fits in. No outside agency helps us. So all that we have to do is with dedication, we try to open the Gita book in the language in which we are comfortable, absolutely comfortable, then go through, then casually go through. Somewhere you will find stop, the inner alignment. And you read it again and again and again. Then pause for a moment. Then you will find an example slowly welling up in your heart. Put it now, the digital platform offers easy. Previously you have to write or type out and then change. Anything can be done now in the digital platform. So we put it there and then read it, go through it, read it, then you find, yes, it fits in. This is how all these 200 slokas have come out. If it is possible for us, it is possible for everybody. Only this methodology we should take it, that's all. We agree. Initially, what the roadblock is, Gita means, I don't know the Sanskrit, I was taught. And we limit ourselves to the textual knowledge. This dimension has not been brought. So when this dimension that gets prioritized. And the sloka is the instrumental cause, no? For us to plumb deep within. And the net gain would be, we are linking to an actual experience. And that means the mind is slowly getting tutored. So when we see anybody of this Matthew's character, immediately, So when we deal with men and matters, now, there will be a slight change from what we had out before. That is the tangible gain of this exercise. When we see in the second chapter, when a death takes place, when somebody goes, and dehinosmin yada dehe gaumaram yauvanam vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. When we read that and connect with the example, so when death comes, we will get a cushioning effect. Not that we will be free from grief, but cushioning. Correct. This is not a truth which only the Gita knows. It is a truth for everybody. But Gita just reminds us through a this thing. Just like the worn out clothes are changed for the new ones, the soul also changes the body and goes. Oh. So it is not an end. End of a journey is the beginning of another journey. All these dimensions will soothe your mind and gives you some solace. So like that, Gita, we should allow Gita to enter into us. That is the main motive behind this. Not that, nothing else is there. Nothing else is there. To make Gita more and more, a source of perennial inspiration. To live well, not live already, to live well. More of it we will try tomorrow. A few devotees have started sending examples whenever they But there also I would specially request, it is not for examples. Example is the outcome of this journey, Identifying an example which you have heard is the outcome of an intense, churning, manana. So, please take up the Gita book during the course of the day or during the course of 2 or 3 days, whenever you are relatively sattvic, relatively inclined towards all these, not in the hectic period, and then you slowly just open random. Some chapter will come. Just go through that. Suddenly you will find somewhere you are asked to stop. And then again you go through it again and again. Suddenly something that you have come across will slowly merge up. Go deep, note it down. We don't want elaborate details. A few devotees they elaborate it. No, not necessary. You just send your tips. How you were prompted from within to locate this. One example, and there like that. Rest of the things you need not. Because we are not interested in anything else. We are only interested in stimulating this process, so that ultimately it will benefit each and every one, not for anybody else, for our own, one's own. So let this be very clear to everybody. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om. Pranam, pranam. Pranam, pranam. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskaram, namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Swamiji.
Namaskaram, namaskaram. Hari Om.